Well, if it isn't everybody's favorite volcano-headed cursed spirit, today we're going to be talking about how strong this guy really is, because a lot of people actually seem to care about what kind of strength Jogo really has, and so of course, this got both you and me thinking. And now would be just about time to find the answer to our question. How strong is Jogo? Volcano Man is definitely not someone to actually underestimate, with his powers exceeding a vast majority of cursed spirits, even Jogo's own allies. Understandably so, his abilities would be some of the most deadly I've ever seen, with every single last one being a variant of a volcano. Really, you would think there's not much that you can really do with just volcano-oriented attacks, but Jogo takes this all the way to the bank. Anything you do to Jogo, he has a volcano for it. And no, I'm actually being quite literal. With just a simple wave of his arm, Jogo is able to spawn a volcano anywhere he wants, with it being in a location that you wouldn't really expect it, leaving for him to have the ultimate surprise attack on anyone that he's facing off against, considering the heat that the volcano itself is going to generate, and alongside the velocity and the force of the magma being propelled at you. I think it's really unlikely that anyone is going to survive getting hit by any of these. Easily one of the things to immediately take notice of is the mass amount of surface area that this volcano actually covers, alongside its range, with it being strong enough to push back anyone that's getting hit by it. And in this case, with Satoru as an example, honestly, there would be nothing left of him if he did not have the infinity and would have gotten hit by this attack, with this thing completely melting away all of the ground that he was standing on. As I say this, unbeknownst to some, with just one or two examples of Jogo's abilities, you could really understand why he thought he could take on Satoru. Speaking of which, this really makes you wonder what would happen if someone that wasn't Satoru, with an impenetrable force field around him, got hit by one of these volcanoes, with the person in question being Naobito Zenin. Now, what is the point of me mentioning this? Well, this is because this is actually impressive, because Naobito would actually be the second fastest Jujutsu sorcerer behind Gojo, and he would get hit by one of Jogo's same volcanoes that Gojo easily would have blocked. But this same volcano attack hitting Naobito would actually make him dead, and I think it's easy for anyone to notice that. But Naobito might have actually been able to dodge this same attack, just as long as he was able to have his right arm, leaving him to actually reach his top speed. Now, would this attack still be able to hit Naobito? I honestly think it would be able to, because not only Jogo be able to predict wherever Naobito is actually going to go, but the sheer reach of the attack would cover enough distance that Naobito would actually end up taking damage, regardless of how fast he is. On the topic of speed, this would even bring Jogo's speed in of itself into question, with it being actually insanely fast. Since you made it this far in the video, make sure to leave me a like and also subscribe to the channel. Liking the video lets me make more content, and finally, make sure you watch the video until the very end. Anyway, back to the Volcano Man. Believe me, I always underestimated Jogo and thought he was always just the volcano head guy, but there's way more to him than just that, with his speed actually outclassing a majority of people in Jujutsu Kaisen. For example, we would have Toji versus Dagon. Toji would be so fast that he would be able to run on water, with this feat in of itself already seeming godlike. Let alone, it's practically impossible for almost every character in this series to do this. Now, Toji would be fast enough to walk and run on water with little to no effort at all. Now, Megumi would mention that this speed of Toji's would rival even Sukuna's, and this would be comparing Sukuna through Megumi's experience. And this Sukuna that Megumi would be talking about would be Sukuna at 2 fingers of power, with Megumi being put into a state of shock due to Sukuna's strength and agility alone. Now, if Toji, who is fast enough to run on water, is being compared to a two-finger sukuna, this really puts into perspective how powerful and fast Jogo actually is, because Jogo would compare to 8 or 9 fingers of sukuna, and that's if we're being generous. Now, if we really try to do the math here, if Toji is being compared to Sukuna's speed at 2 fingers, while Jogo would be compared to Sukuna at around 8 or 9 fingers, this would mean that Jogo would most likely be 4 times as fast as Toji ever could be, which actually sounds really stupid. It caught me by surprise because I didn't think the volcano head had it in him. If Toji is being compared to Sukuna at 2 fingers, while Jogo is being compared to Sukuna at 8 or 9, it's really hard to ignore this. And not only that, Jogo was actually able to keep up with Sukuna at 15 fingers, actually being able to try and land an attack. Although none of his attacks actually hit, Jogo following Sukuna at such a level really does just say a lot, even if Sukuna is still just toying with him. Now, to even further emphasize this point, so I'm not sounding like some kind of insane person, when Toji is fighting Dagon, he immediately kills Dagon like he's nothing. But with the entire fight finished, the other sorcerers would have their attention gravitate towards Jogo, and they would say that in comparison to Dagon, Jogo would be on a completely different level. Now, if this same Toji is able to easily kill Dagon, would it really be the same with Jogo when he's not only on another level than Dagon, but he's also possibly 4 times faster than Toji really is? Just think about it, because it really makes you realize why exactly he thought he could take on Satoru in the first place. Really, it begins to make a lot of sense. Really, just so you don't think I'm spouting nonsense over Jogo's speed, this would make you wonder just how fast would Toji have to be able to run on water. To perform a feat like this, he would have to be able to travel at 20 through 30 meters per second. Now, that ideally doesn't seem that demanding. Now we would have to take Toji's rate of running at 20 to 30 meters per second and compare this to Naobito Zenin, who would be the fastest sorcerer just behind Satoru. Naobito Zenin would be able to reach the speed of sound and even go faster than that. Keep that in mind. However, another sorcerer would be able to do these same feats, yet he wouldn't be as fast, with that being Naoya Zenin, and he would be able to surpass the speed of sound. But Naobito would be faster than Naoya, who can surpass the speed of sound. Now, this is where things are actually going to get crazy. Toji would have to travel at 20 to 30 meters per second to be able to run on water. Yet, to reach the speed of sound, you would have to travel at 343 meters per second, and both Naoya and Naobito can do this, if not go even faster. So with that being said, if we're comparing 30 meters per second to 343 meters per second, then this means that Naoya and Naobito would be 10 times faster than Toji. Well, you're probably wondering, why are you bringing up the speed of these characters? Because that does not matter. Actually, it does, because guess what? Jogo would be as fast as Naobito Zenin, with Dagon stating Naobito's fast, probably faster than Jogo. Probably is the word that really makes me skeptical, because Jogo would be compared to sorcerers that can fight at the speed of sound. So if he's being compared to the likes of Naobito, who is the fastest sorcerer, then Jogo would be so fast that he would not only be 10 times faster than Toji, but Jogo would be able to run on water easily, and he would be able to run as fast as sorcerers who run at the speed of sound, if not faster. The fact that Jogo is being compared to the fastest sorcerers just goes to show that I'm not making up anything about his speed. He is actually this fast and fast enough to rival even a 15-finger sukuna in terms of speed. Jogo could even end up being one of the top 10 fastest characters in the entire series. One thing to also take notice of is that Jogo can move this fast, and unlike Naruto, he does not have to follow a frame rule at all. He can move in whichever direction he wants, and he can even change his own trajectory, meaning Jogo's movements aren't limited in the slightest. Now, with his speed out of the way, all that's left is his destructive force and durability. When it comes to how much damage Jogo can endure, let's just say in his own right, he's a tank. When getting hit by a cursed energy infused attack, all the while not even being able to concentrate his own cursed energy and defend against this attack, Jogo would take multiple hits from Satoru and still somehow remain standing. I don't think it takes a genius to realize that Jogo gets beat down a good majority of this manga, but every time he gets hit, he immediately repairs and fixes himself after a single attack. Whether it's his jaw getting completely cut off, his arms being split in half, he will be able to repair these things very easily. And in comparison to Dagon, who is stated by Nanami to almost seem as if he has boundless HP, with Jogo being on another level in comparison to someone who feels like they have boundless HP, you can really only imagine just how much damage Jogo can actually take. And that's if he isn't even healing himself. Jogo's resilience to pain is also something to take notice of, because he would even cut off his own arm if it meant his own survival, which is honestly the best thing he could possibly do, because he can just grow it back at the end of the day. Jogo's destructive force is definitely within its own league. By simply touching somebody, he will incinerate them instantaneously, leaving nothing of their body left behind outside of scorched skin and a corpse, leaving anyone unlucky enough to fight him in a wave of flames. And if he doesn't want to fight you up close and personal, he can always just spawn these volcanoes and use them as a way to attack you from a distance. Of course, these same volcanoes can be used up close, but they're just a very good option in general. And he can use the ember insects and use these as projectiles to hone in on anyone he's fighting, and then slowly destroy anyone. After impaling their targets, then they would screech only to explode. These would be the craziest semtex you could ever use. Jogo can also concentrate fire in his hand, and by simply touching you with it, you would be set ablaze. And then immediately, he can shoot a torrent of fire from his hands at any distance. If all else fails, he can easily use his strongest attack, Maximum Meteor. This would easily leave a crater in an entire city, destroying buildings like they were never there in the first place. It's really unlikely for anyone to dodge this attack, and even Sukuna would take damage from this if it would actually hit him. And last but not least, he would have his domain expansion, which pins you inside of a volcano and undoubtedly melting you. Who would have guessed that that would have happened? While inside this domain, the can't miss attack would send a giant rock at you, which is burning, leaving it to easily crush your skull and break your bones, all the while your entire body would turn into ash just by being in his domain. Understandably so, we can see why Jogo would have wanted to fight Satoru, and we can understand why Sukuna would go as far as to saying he's strong. His speed is on a different level. His attack potency can destroy multiple buildings with little to no effort. And finally, really, he would only look like a joke because he is fighting people that completely outclass him. Put Jogo into a fair fight, and then we'll really get an idea at just how strong he really is. I think it's safe to say you could argue that he's in the top 10 strongest, if not top 15.